right, peace and blessings, everybody. It's November the 22nd, the year 2017. And this is going to be a letter from Kurt F. Johnson. He's in Marion, Illinois prison, CMU. And I don't know a lot about him, except for he was somehow caught up in this mortgage fraud. You guys might remember back in, I think it was 2008. There were huge stories about derivatives and mortgage fraud and loans being made upon loans, and a lot of scandals with the banks. But I think he was exposing it. My understanding, and I've asked Mr. Kurt Johnson to write up his story so you can get to know him, and so I can get to know him. I said people need to know who you are. Do you maintain your innocence? What were the charges? What is your story, basically? And so he's not going to be out until 2028, according to the Bureau of Prison. And so let's go to his letter, and we'll await to see if he writes me his story. He does say he's been a Christian for 43 years. So he's got a wife on the outside, and I've talked to her on the phone once, and she seems like a very nice person. But I'm still in the process of getting to know Kurt, and I ask that you please write Kurt and ask him a lot of letters. Engage him in a conversation, and it will help him learn, because I don't think he's got a lot of letters, except for maybe from his wife, and I don't know if he has any family supporters. I don't know. But if you all write him a letter and ask him questions and, ask him to tell about himself, maybe it will help him, break out of his shell so that he can, share with us what's going on. But my understanding is that he got caught up in this mortgage fraud crisis, and he was trying to expose the corruption, but they pinned it on him, and rather than the bad guys go to prison, they sent the guy trying to expose it. The only person who ever goes to prison is the whistleblower, right? Remember when the CIA was being put in the mainstream press for torturing people? The only person who ever went to prison for the torture in the CIA was the guy who blew the whistle on it. So I thought this is his letter, the outside envelope. It says, note, counterterrorism unit and all associates, the use of your criminal mail system by necessity is not acceptance, and no claim of injury is hereby waived. So he's putting a notice to the counterterrorism unit right on the letter, which I thought was interesting. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Is that big enough? Let's make it 175. See if that... Yeah. All right, let's read this letter. He wrote it on November the 13th. That's 9 days ago. Dear Rudy, I want to thank you for taking an interest in assisting me. My friends and family are having a hard time obtaining for me copies of my judgments from the World Court. A lot of these guys don't think they can get justice in American courts, so they write off letters and try to engage the World Court. Let me also say that I have made it clear to Mr. Johnson that I am not the right guy to put a lot of action items on. And I'm not trying to sidestep my responsibilities in a prison ministry, but my role is to read his letter into YouTube, and if you guys want to help him, you can do it. But I can't take on the action items from 30 plus different prisoners. I simply can't do it. I mean, I got one letter from a guy on death row named Thomas Lane, and just working on his stuff alone would take weeks. So what I'm going to try to do is read the letters into YouTube, and if you guys want to help, then you please help him. Now, he's a brother in Christ, and I'll help him as much as I can, but, it's simply too much for me to do alone. So if you guys want to help Kurt Johnson, maybe you want to write him a letter and ask him some questions, but let's read what he has to say, and maybe that will help guide you in your letter to him. I have supplied you with both letters I wrote to the judge and court, which contain all the details I can supply. I think if someone can make contact with the judge, we will have the help and confirmation needed. Now, I think he's talking about Judge Donoghue, which is on the World Court, International World Court. We'll see. We'll get to it. I am in a situation where a man named Stephen Chirac, who said he would help me, turned out to be a fraud. He has certified copies of my judgments, but holds them hostage Let me stop there and also say this entire letter PDF file will be uploaded to the Other Prisoners page on Year of Jubilee. So you can go download this for yourself on Year of Jubilee. Just go to the list of other prisoners. He has certified copies of my judgments, but holds them hostage because he wants to see if using fraud he can sell them on the commercial paper markets. He has proven to be a thief at heart. I need these copies to protect myself from these nefarious intentions and to prosecute those who have used the color of office to practice various crimes upon me. So I believe Stephen Chirac used to be in the Bureau of Prisons. He used to be in Marion, Illinois prison, and when he got out, I believe he said he was going to try to help out Kurt Johnson, but he turned out to be a thief. I enclosed a copy of one judgment. I have a case number 4, and to forward if necessary to obtain the assistance of the court staff. You can see the content that it is significant allegation and confession by the government. Hope you find the sampling of the book stimulating. Now, he wrote a book called The Perfect Bride, but in my communication with Mr. Johnson, he does not want his book put out publicly yet. That's just for me. It's not for the public. If you would like to see copies or a sampling of his book, you can write to him directly, but he did not give me approval to put publicly out copies of his book. Blessed, be blessed, and may the Lord grant you wisdom and insight on how to assist me for the Lord's service, Kurt Johnson. Now, this appears to be some sort of core links that he sent out. I think core links and true links are the same thing. I could be wrong, but I think they are. Maybe true links is the older name. I'm not sure. Although this was only written in 1 month ago. Maybe true links and core links are the same thing. I don't know. To the CMU from Kurt Johnson's number. Date October the 2nd, 2017. To the World Court, Inmate Work Assignment. Dear Judge Donoghue. I wish I could remember her first name, but if you look up Judge Donoghue with the World Court, try to help me find a phone number or email for her, because that's who Kurt Johnson is wanting to get a hold of. I don't know if it's called the International. There's 2 of them too. It gets pretty dang complicated, and I'm not the smartest knife in the shed, right? Or sharpest tool in the tool drawer. There's like the International World Court, and then there's the International Court of Justice. One of them deals with countries, and the other one deals with individuals. But he wants this Judge Donoghue with the World Court. I am seeking to help obtain certified copies of 2 judgments you issued on 1/14/16 against the United States Incorporated et al. For executor Kurt F. Johnson by and through international treaty. Attached here too are a specie copy of each. Your help is urgently needed because the people who assisted me in the process of getting them before your court have refused to deliver the judgments to me and have revealed by various machinations of fraud that they are trying to undermine my property interest. Time is of the essence because one attempted sale has barely been detected and avoided. It is essential for me to possess these so that I can properly record them to protect my interest. The smaller of the 2 judgments was not opposed. However, the larger one was defended by the request for an injunction and the setting of an abatement hearing. I was told that you granted both and the set hearing for February 19th, 2016. Further, you created a 9-question questionnaire for the abatement. I then heard that you received so much bad faith by the respondents that you recalled the injunction, canceled the abatement hearing, and made the judgment final on February the 11th, 2016. This was later appealed and affirmed on September the 28th, 2016. This is the best I can do in offering details. Please have one of your staffers contact my wife, Deborah Welsh, at 510-697-1968 or DeborahODD@gmail.com, providing her with every detail and instruction she will need to pay for and acquire these certified copies. As you can tell by the judgment, I am incarcerated under harsh and cruel conditions that prevent me from helping myself. Sincerely, Kurt Johnson. Then he writes another letter to the World Court, International Court of Justice. Oh, he's got an address there. Dear Sirs, I am in serious need of a conscious effort to help. I am incarcerated in a secret censorship prison in the United States with very limited access to the mails or other forms of communication. So if you received this letter, I am lucky. I was forced to contact you directly because my wife keeps getting stonewalled when she makes a telephonic request on my behalf. We don't need to be told your court only handles state versus state matters. I am quite aware that is your primary purpose, but it's not your sole function. In the International Financial Transactions Grievance and Corporate Resolution Treaty 1972, Charter number 8971A, drafted in the United States, this court was given original jurisdiction to appoint hearing officers for the administrative process and to rule upon referrals therefrom. Most specifically, when Judge Joan E. Donoghue, that's her name right there, that's the name that he's trying to get a hold of. When Judge Joan E. Donoghue ruled on 1/14/2016 on behalf of myself, Executor Kurt F. Johnson, she relied upon paragraph 6, subsection 2, article 3, corporate abuse remedy as her authority. My problem arises from my limited communication and the betrayal of those who acted as agents for getting my interest before your court. As part of this betrayal, the certified judgments were never delivered to me, and it is believed will soon be used as assets for fraudulent transactions. I am in a desperate need to purchase certified copies of my judgments in an expeditious and timely manner if I want to have any real shot at protecting my property interest from fraud. I cannot contact any of my representation who are being concealed by my betraying intermediary. This is why I have come to you directly. Here are the details I have to share. 2 judgments were granted by Judge Joan E. Donoghue on 1/14/2016. Of these 2, one was opposed. She granted a motion for injunction and abatement hearing scheduled 2/19/16. The judge developed a questionnaire of 9 questions for respondents. Having received dishonor on February 11, 2016, she recalled the injunction and canceled the abatement hearing, making the judgment final. The opposed judgment was given a number IWC-011416-A862234-003. A copy of my unexecuted version of this judgment is hereby attached for your reference, consisting of 9 pages. This was later appealed and affirmed on September the 28th, 2016. The other case number for the unopposed judgment is unknown to me. Later, 4 more administrative processes were submitted for judgment. This was handled in the Netherlands and not New York by a judge unknown to me. 3 judgments were granted and 1 rejected on December the 16th, 2016. All of these were unopposed. These were later finalized as unappealable on 6/28/2017. None of these case numbers are known to me. I would like to acquire certified copies of all 5 judgments. Will someone please use this information to find these judgments and contact my wife Deborah at deborahODD@gmail.com with all the details and cost associated with the purchase of certified copies as quickly as possible, since time is of the essence. Further, could you also supply the contact information of some of the administrative hearing officers appointed by this court? Thank you for your life-saving assistance. Sincerely, Kurt Johnson. And then I'm not going to read this entire next 9 pages. I'm just going to scroll through it, and you can pause and read it. It appears that it's some sort of copy of a legal document. This administrative notice is made pursuant of the International Administrative Private Remedy Process Treaty. I see he's got Charles E. Samuels Jr. in there, who is absolute devil from the loins of Satan. He was the BOP director for a long time. These are Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, Group 5, 4. The following demand is hereby and herein made of all the above named and all parties employed thereby and associated with the same in any official capacity, but in their private and official capacity. I'll just scroll through this and you can read it. It appears to be a detailed legal document. Okay, that was page 3. Plain statement of facts. Let's go ahead and read this. On or about 2004, the executive branch of the United States Incorporated initiated a conspiracy through various agencies, departments, and subsidiaries, such as, but not exhaustively listed, the Federal Bureau of Prisons, Homeland Security, Federal Bureau of Investigation, and Central Intelligence Agency, for creating a continuing criminal enterprise against the rights of we the people in forming the Communications Management Unit at Terre Haute in 2006 and the CMU at Marion in 2008. These units were shaped by total disregard of this form of government and its founding documents. The proposed regulations were flawed in that censorship, obstruction, discrimination, cruel and unusual punishments, fraud in the inception, inducement, and operations with the illegal funding outside of congressional delegation, mandate, or appropriations were incorporated, leaving no hopes for converting them into final regulations. Wow, that's a mouthful, and I agree with everything he just said. He's going after the illegal creation of the CMU prisons, Communications Management Unit prisons. He goes on to talk about various case law. These units, as an idea, cannot legally operate beyond the 1-year funding appropriation assigned executive order and must move through Congress, which has never occurred. He looks like he's talks about black ops style funding and forged and fraudulent documents. Okay, he's going after the CMU, which I like a lot. So this is page 5. Known facts. The CMUs are not proper extension of congressional lawmaking authority. I agree with that. The CMUs are not a proper extension of executive authority. The CMUs are not funded through lawful... Wow, this is great stuff. Yeah, he's really going after the fact that the government created all these secret prisons. That's good. Wow, I didn't know he was going after that. That's really, really good stuff. Conclusion. For all the reasons stated above, these named defendant respondents have been summoned through the administrative demand for answering for their torturous and criminal advancement of a RICO scheme against we the people and executor by and through these illegal, unregulated CMU units secretly operated outside the limited grants and delegation of authority of this form of government. The damages are real and personal for Executor Kurt F. Johnson individually and as one of we the people who will have been defrauded with claims made through inspection of the record and first-hand experience as a victim of the CMU. These damages are egregious in that they are willful, intentional, seditious, treasonous, and multiplied in that they, on from a position of trust, in violation of duties, promises, and oaths made contrary to the actions taken, they are a complete overthrow of this form of government in conspiratorial concert of overt and mostly covert acts for the lack of transparency. Be warned again that you have a duty for speaking as employees, fiduciaries, and violators, and failing doing so, your silence will be used against you as your acquiescence by tacit procuration and stipulated agreement between the parties. Your appeal rights are very narrow, and this demand should be taken with the utmost seriousness for avoiding a judgment being taken out against you. Let's read this last paragraph. With each party being liable jointly and severely in their private and public capacities, the amounts due and payable upon... You gotta be kidding me, man. Come on. All right. Let's continue. That's $1 billion. $1 billion for each year of illegal operation of the CMU units, currently at 8 years of the Terre Haute facility and 7 years of the Marion facility, being a total of 15 years at the time of this writing, $15 billion. However, any day of operation in a particular calendar year is the same as a full year of operation on January 1st, 2015. These units are still in operation. Another $2 billion will be incorporated as part of this judgment should it be obtained, and will continue accruing at the same rate until these units cease operation, and if additional units are discovered in operation or added at a future date in time, the same annual sanction shall be in operation and effect, the executor retaining the right for making claim on these additional sanctions by and through invoicing the above name if and when appropriate. Okay, he gives an affirmation. In support of this notice, the above stated facts are made with the penalty of perjury according to God's law, the maxims of law created therefrom, and the laws of this republic where executor is now housed, but does not maintain a domicile, and that the facts stated herein are true, correct, not misleading in any manner whatsoever, and are based upon first-hand knowledge of the executor, employer, and from inspection of the record. And as for those facts based upon the belief, they are believed true, receiving all rights for amending for truth, clarity, and justice, done with the penalty of perjury. All right. Well, this is a letter written by Kurt F. Johnson. Look, sounds like he's pretty serious. And if you would like to write him a letter in prison, he's at Marion, Illinois prison, and in the CMU. And I pray that you do take the time to get to know him, and let's find out what he's about. Thank you for your time. The last line of peaceful defense between a tyrannical government and the defendant is jury nullification.